At the beginning of the story, we meet a student named Takahada. He is completely tired of his boring life. He feels like there is no happiness in his life anymore. Every day feels exactly the same to him. He wakes up in the morning, goes to school, and then comes back home. After reaching home, he spends his time playing video games. But even video games cannot entertain him anymore. He has become tired of doing the same thing every single day. His entire life has been trapped in this routine. The next day, Takahada is sitting in his classroom while the teacher is giving a lesson. Suddenly, something horrifying happens. The teacher's head explodes without any warning. At that very moment, a terrifying Daruma doll comes out. The doll slowly turns its head and starts singing a strange song. As soon as the song ends, the doll turns around again. Right then, one student accidentally moves from his place. The doll instantly smashes his head. His head bursts into countless tiny bloody pieces. Everyone is shocked by the terrifying scene. After that, anyone who moves even a little is killed immediately. Seeing this, every student freezes in fear. Nobody dares to move. Everyone stands completely still while trying to control their breathing. A few seconds later, two boys panic and run toward the classroom door. They try to open it and escape, but the Daruma doll notices them. In the next moment, it crushes both of their heads as well. The horrifying deaths leave everyone completely terrified. While the doll turns in the opposite direction, a student named Sadek notices something unusual. He sees a small button on the doll's back. He quickly tells everyone that they must somehow press that button. According to him, that is the only way to stop the doll. Otherwise, every single person in the classroom will die. Hearing this, one brave student rushes toward the doll to press the button. But before he can get close, the doll spots him. It instantly smashes his head too. After seeing this, everyone loses hope. It feels impossible to survive. At the same time, the countdown behind the doll is almost over. With no other choice, the remaining students start running in different directions to save themselves. However, the doll keeps killing them one after another. Their heads explode into tiny bloody pieces. Within moments, the entire classroom is covered with dead bodies and blood. In the end, only two students remain alive. They are Takahada and his friend Sadek, but they have only 35 seconds left before time runs out. Sadek quickly tells Takahada to jump over him and press the button on the doll's back. At first, Takahada refuses because he does not want to use his friend like that, but only 5 seconds remain on the timer. With no other option left, Takahada jumps over Sadek's body and successfully presses the button. Luckily, the Daruma doll finally shuts down. Sadek is overjoyed because they think the nightmare is finally over. But a second later, the doll suddenly turns back on. Without any warning, it smashes Sadek's head and kills him instantly. The doll then tells Takahada that he was the one who pressed the button. That is why he is the winner of this game. Takahada is left completely stunned. He stands there looking at the pile of dead bodies around him. Just then, his friend Ikika arrives. She is badly frightened after seeing the Daruma doll. Ikika tells Takahada that all of her friends were killed too. She says she tried her best to save them, but she could not protect anyone. Even though she also pressed the button on the Daruma doll, it still spared only her. Everyone else in her classroom was killed. Hearing this, Takahada quickly takes out his phone and tries to call the police, but there is no signal at all. They realize that nobody can help them. So both of them immediately run away to save their lives. They try to open the school doors and escape, but every single door has already been locked. Takahada picks up a heavy gas cylinder and slams it against one of the doors. Even after several hits, the door does not break because it is locked very tightly. With no other choice left, they run upstairs. After running for a while, they finally reach the school playground. The moment they step inside, the gate suddenly closes behind them. They immediately understand that they cannot leave this place until they finish another deadly game. Written across the playground are the rules of the next challenge. It says that to win the game, someone must put a bell around the cat's neck. Every player on the field is wearing a mouse costume. The leader of this game, Dori, tells Takahada and Ikika to wear the same costume because they are now players too. Just then, the ground begins shaking violently. A few seconds later, a gigantic cat suddenly comes out from beneath the ground. Everyone is left completely terrified. Without wasting any time, the giant cat swallows one player whole. Seeing this, everyone starts running in different directions, but the cat keeps chasing them and swallows player after player. While running, Takahada and Ikika notice a bell sliding across the ground. A countdown timer is attached to it. Takahada then looks carefully at the giant cat. He notices that there is a basketball rim hanging around the cat's neck. He quickly understands the trick. They must throw the bell through that rim to clear the game. Takahada immediately tells everyone what he has figured out. At that moment, the most skilled player jumps high into the air and throws the bell straight toward the rim. But the clever cat blocks it with perfect timing. The cat grabs the bell and throws it back at the player with incredible force. The bell hits him so hard that he flies across the playground and crashes straight into a wall. He dies instantly. Panic spreads across the entire playground. Everyone starts running again, while the giant cat continues attacking and crushing players one after another. As Takahada watches carefully, he realizes something important. The cat is only chasing the people who are wearing the mouse costume. costumes. He quickly shouts at everyone and tells them to take off the costumes immediately. The players remove their costumes as fast as they can. After that, the cat finally stops chasing them. For a moment, everyone believes they have survived. But suddenly, the giant cat swallows a girl without any warning. Everyone is horrified once again. Fear spreads through the entire playground as people start running in every direction. The cat continues killing players one after another. During the chaos, Ikika accidentally falls to the ground. The giant cat comes dangerously close to her. It is just about to swallow her. At that exact moment, Takahada quickly puts the mouse costume back on. He uses himself as bait to distract the cat and save Ikika. The giant cat immediately starts chasing him. It tries everything to crush him, but Takahada somehow keeps escaping every attack. Then, the cat suddenly swings its huge tail with incredible force. The powerful hit sends Takahada flying through the air before he crashes far away. After crashing to the ground, Takahada suddenly starts hearing the giant cat's voice. The cat is saying that its lower back is very itchy. It says that the itching is so bad that it cannot sleep peacefully. Takahada is completely confused. He cannot understand how a giant cat is talking to him. To test it, he removes the mouse costume head from his own head. As soon as he takes it off, he can no longer hear the cat's voice. Then he wears it again, and the cat's voice comes back. At that moment, Takahada realizes that the mouse ears on the costume are allowing him to understand what the cat is saying. Without wasting any time, he runs straight toward the giant cat. He climbs onto its back and starts scratching the itchy spot. The cat immediately begins to feel relaxed. It even asks him to scratch harder. Hearing this, Takahada quickly tells everyone else to help scratch the cat's back too. The remaining players climb onto the giant cat together. They start scratching its back with their hands and even use their wipers to scratch faster. The giant cat enjoys it so much that it slowly falls asleep. Takahada quickly takes advantage of the situation. He picks up the bell and is just about to throw it through the rim around the cat's neck. But before he can do it, the game leader suddenly stops him. He tells Takahada that if he throws the bell now, only he will win the game while everyone else will die, just like what happened during the Daruma doll game. Takahata refuses to listen to him. A fight immediately breaks out between the players. Because of all the noise, the giant cat suddenly wakes up. The moment it opens its eyes, it swings its sharp claws and slices two nearby players into pieces. Takahada is horrified by the brutal attack. Just then, he notices a ball lying on the ground. He and Ikika quickly pick up both the bell and the ball. They run into a nearby room. Inside, they wrap the ball and the bell separately inside a piece of cloth before coming back outside. They start running toward the giant cat again. The cat becomes confused because it cannot tell who is carrying the real bell. While they are running, the cloth covering the ball accidentally slips off from Takahada's hands. The giant cat sees it and immediately believes that Ikika is carrying the real bell. It attacks Ikika first and knocks the ball far away, but the cat has been tricked. That was only the ball. The real bell is still with Takahada. He had hidden it inside the broken pieces of the ball. Takahada quickly throws the real bell toward the rim, but unfortunately the bell misses the rim. Seeing this, Takahada completely loses hope. Their time is almost over, and only 2 seconds remain before the game ends. At the very last moment, another player suddenly jumps into the air. He reaches the falling bell and pushes it straight through the rim. The giant cat instantly stops moving, and the game finally comes to an end. The cat announces that only 3 players have cleared the game. Those players are Takahada, Ikika, and Amiya. Everyone else has failed. Suddenly, Amiya pulls out a sword and kills the remaining 3 surviving players who did not clear the game. After that, Amiya tells Takahada that if they had not killed those players, the giant cat would have killed all of them instead. He says he could never allow that to happen because then they would have lost their own lives as well. After hearing Amiya's explanation, Takahada becomes furious with him. He cannot accept what Amiya has done, but before the two of them can start fighting, the giant cat suddenly releases a huge cloud of gas from its mouth. The gas quickly spreads everywhere, and Takahada, Ikika, and Amiya all lose consciousness. After this, the story cuts to a news report. The news reveals that terror has spread across the entire world. More than 200 million students have already died. However, this is not an ordinary terrorist attack. It is the same deadly game played by the mysterious dolls inside schools. Every time a student loses one of these games, the doll kills them on the spot. Until now, nobody in the outside world has been able to discover where the winning students disappear after surviving the games. The report then shows that all the students who survived have been locked inside a gigantic white cube. These are the students who won their games. The military from across the city tries everything to stop the mysterious cube. They chase it and launch attacks against it, but nothing works. The cube continues flying through the sky without slowing down. Inside that cube, another deadly game is waiting for the surviving students. They are told that if they clear the next game, they will finally be allowed allowed to leave the cube. Sometime later, Takahada wakes up inside the giant white cube. In front of him, he sees his school friend Shoko. She is shocked to see him there. She asks him how he ended up inside the cube. Takahada explains that he survived one of the deadly games, and after winning, he was brought to this place. Shoko tells him that the same thing happened to her. She also won a game, and then she was locked inside the cube. She sadly asks why they are still being trapped even after becoming winners. Takahada admits that he has no idea what is happening. Along with them, two more students are inside the room. Their names are Tara and Yumi. Tara is busy using his laptop to calculate the structure of the giant cube. He hopes to solve its design and find a way to escape. Meanwhile, Takahada tries to open a nearby door because he wants to find Ikika and Amiya, but the door is locked tightly and refuses to open. Just then, Tara presses a button. A large screen turns on in front of them. The screen begins showing another news broadcast. Once again, the report talks about the giant white cube and the mysterious attacks taking place at schools all over the world. Tara tells Takahada that escaping is impossible. He says that no matter how hard they try, they will never get out. According to him, not even the combined armies of the entire world could break into this cube. Hearing this, Takahada feels completely hopeless because it seems like death is waiting for all of them. At that moment, the screen displays the rules for the next game. It announces that they must collect 3 keys if they want to survive. Otherwise, every player inside the cube will die. Right after the announcement, the locked door suddenly opens. 4 Kochi dolls walk into the room. They explain that only the players who clear this game will be allowed to leave the cube. Then the dolls explain the rules. Every player must sit in one place with a blindfold covering their eyes. Spirits will circle around them while singing a song. When the song stops, the player will have only 10 seconds to identify which spirit is standing directly behind them. If the answer is wrong, the player will be killed immediately. After hearing the rules, Tara believes the game is very easy. Feeling completely confident, he walks to the center of the room, sits down, and closes his eyes. The Kochi dolls then begin to circle around him, singing their strange song. As soon as the song stops, Tara becomes nervous. He quickly gives his answer, but his answer is wrong. One of the dolls slowly opens its eye and shines a strange beam of light onto him. In the next moment, Tara completely loses control of his body. He starts smashing his own head against the floor again and again. He cannot stop himself. He keeps hitting his head until his skull finally breaks apart and he dies. After killing Tara, the dolls call Yumi for her turn. She is terrified and refuses to play at first, but the dolls tell her that if she refuses, she will die anyway. With no other choice left, Yumi sits down to play the game. When it is time to guess which spirit is standing behind her, she becomes so frightened that she cannot answer in time. The 10-second limit expires and she is immediately disqualified. Out of fear, Yumi tries to run away, but the Kochi dolls quickly surround her. This time, instead of using the strange beam, each doll grabs one of her limbs and pulls in different directions. Her body is torn apart and she is killed instantly. Now only Shoko and Takahada are left alive. The dolls call Shoko for the next round. Takahada realizes that she is too scared to think clearly. He quickly steps forward and offers to play in her place. Takahada sits in the middle of the room and closes his eyes. Once again, the dolls begin circling around him while singing the same strange song. After the song ends, Takahada carefully listens to every sound around him. Before he can answer, one of the dolls suddenly announces that the time is over. At that exact moment, Takahada loudly calls out the name of the doll standing behind him. The doll keeps repeating that the time has already ended, but Takahada calmly explains something important. He tells them that he recorded the entire game on his phone. When he checks the recording, it clearly shows that only 6 seconds had passed before he gave his answer. That means he answered well within the 10-second limit. The dolls become curious and ask him how he figured out the correct answer. Takahada explains that during every previous round, the dolls always stood in the same positions. He also noticed that the same doll announced the time limit every single time, so he waited to hear that specific voice. By using its position, he was able to identify exactly which doll was standing behind him. Since his answer was correct and given within the time limit, the dolls suddenly turn into dust. As their bodies disappear, a small key appears from the ashes on the floor. With no more obstacles left inside the room, Shoko and Takahada pick up the key together and walk out of the room. But the moment they step into the hallway, they witness something strange. Another student is running toward them in complete panic, looking absolutely terrified. The frightened student is carrying a key, and a Kochi doll is chasing him. As soon as he reaches Takahada and Shoko, he quickly warns them about the doll. He explains that this doll only attacks people who are alone. If they hold each other's hands and stay together, the doll cannot hurt them. Hearing this, the 3 of them immediately hold hands. The doll walks up to them and carefully checks whether they are really staying together. After After confirming that they are connected, it quietly leaves and goes to search for another student who is alone. Now Takahada's group has 2 keys. While walking through the long hallway inside the cube, they suddenly hear a girl screaming. They immediately run toward the sound and discover that the girl is Ikika. The same doll that attacks lonely people is chasing her. Without thinking for even a second, Takahada lets go of the other's hands and runs straight toward Ikika. At the very last moment, just before the doll can catch her, Takahada grabs Ikika and pulls her clothes. A little later, in another hallway, 2 other students find something strange. A giant wooden head is built into the wall. A countdown timer is running on its forehead, and beneath it are 7 keyholes. When Takahada's group arrives there, they discover that those 2 students are also carrying 2 keys. Everyone counts the keys together and realizes they now have 4 keys in total. But they still need 3 more. The timer shows that they have only a little more than 2 minutes left. Everyone starts to panic. Suddenly, 3 more keys fall onto the floor right in front of them. A few moments later, Amya appears. He arrives with another student. It becomes clear that he was using that student as bait to trick the doll that attacks lonely people. Now all 7 keys have finally been collected. Before moving on, Amya throws the other student aside as if he no longer matters. He calmly says that he wants to join their team. He explains that everyone needs all 7 keys to reach the next stage. Since they have no other choice, the group accepts him. Together, they place all 7 keys into the wooden head. As soon as they do that, the wall opens and reveals a tunnel leading deeper inside the cube. Before they enter, the giant wooden head tells everyone to change their clothes. After saying this, the head disappears. The group walks through the tunnel together. When they reach the other side, they find themselves in a world completely covered with snow. Suddenly, the ground begins shaking beneath their feet. A few moments later, they discover the reason. A gigantic polar bear comes snowboarding down the mountain. It performs amazing tricks like a professional athlete before stopping right in front of them. After finishing its strange performance, the bear announces the next challenge. It says that it hates lies more than anything. This game will test everyone's honesty. The rules are very simple. The bear will ask questions and every player must answer honestly. If anyone tells a lie, the bear will smell it in the air and know that someone is lying. Then the whole team must decide who the liar is. Only if they identify the correct person will they be allowed to move on to the next stage. The giant bear starts with a very simple question. It asks everyone, "What is your favorite food?" Since the question sounds easy, the players begin to relax. One by one, everyone gives their answer. But as soon as they finish, the bear starts sniffing the air. After a few seconds, it says that it can smell a lie. According to the bear, one of the players has broken the rules by lying. The team now has only 2 minutes to figure out who the liar is. After arguing for a while, most of the group blames the student whom Takahada and Ikika had rescued earlier. Without showing any mercy, the giant bear swings its huge paw and slaps the boy. The powerful hit crushes his body instantly, killing him on the spot. After that, the bear moves on to the next question. This time it asks everyone if they like Takahada. Ikika says that she likes him. Shoko also says that she likes him. Amya also claims that he likes Takahada. But after everyone finishes answering, the bear once again says that one of them has lied. Ikika immediately points at Amya. She reminds everyone that he had already tried to kill them before. While everyone is arguing, Takahada suddenly begins thinking about something strange. He wonders why anyone would knowingly tell a lie when they understand that lying could get someone killed. The giant bear suddenly laughs. It says that Takahada is finally starting to understand the truth. Then the bear reveals something shocking. It says that one of its own partners is hiding among the players in human form. That person is secretly lying, so the others will keep accusing each other and die one by one. After hearing this, the 2 students from another school start thinking carefully. They suddenly become suspicious of Tara. Their reasoning is simple. Shoko, Ikika, and Amya all come from the same school, so they already knew each other before these games began. But Tara came from another school and joined their group later. Because of that, they become convinced that Tara is the disguised enemy. Takahada and Ikika immediately try to defend him. They tell everyone that Tara is innocent, but the others refuse to listen. At the very last moment, they vote against Tara. Instantly, Tara's body is crushed into a pool of blood. Now only a few players are still alive. The bear gets ready to ask the next question, but before it can speak, Takahada suddenly steps forward. He says that he has already figured out who the real liar is. The giant bear stops and looks at him with curiosity. Then Takahada shocks everyone by saying that the giant polar bear itself is the real liar. The bear looks completely confused. Takahada calmly explains his reasoning. He says that just before Tara died, he unknowingly helped reveal the truth. When Tara's blood landed on the bear's paw, part of the white color on its fur washed away. Underneath that white white coating, black fur became visible. Takahada realizes that this animal was never a real polar bear. It is actually a black bear pretending to be a polar bear. Since the bear lied about its own identity, it is the true liar. At that moment, Takahada realizes something very important. If the bear lied about its own identity, then maybe everything else it said was also a lie. That means there was never any hidden traitor among the players. The bear was only deceiving them so they would suspect each other and slowly destroy themselves. After hearing this, the giant bear becomes furious. It suddenly jumps high into the air and tries to crush the entire team with its massive body. But Takahada and the others quickly move out of the way. The bear misses its target and falls straight into a nearby hot spring. The boiling water burns its body from the inside. As its body begins to melt, the bear screams in terrible pain. In the end, the monster accepts its defeat. Before disappearing, it tells the surviving players where they must go for the next challenge. Soon, Takahada, Ikika, and Amiya arrive at a new location. There, they are welcomed by a group of strange dolls. The dolls announce that the final challenge is about to begin. The name of the game is Kick the Can. They explain that it is a deadly version of hide and seek. The dolls begin explaining the rules. One player will be chosen as the Akuma, which means the demon who must search for the others. Before the game starts, the Akuma must take a can from a high platform and place it in the center of a circle marked on the ground. While the Akuma is doing this, all the other players must quickly find a place to hide. If they stay hidden until sunset, they will win the game. However, the Akuma can also win. If the Akuma finds a player, that player must be called out by name, and then the Akuma must step on the can. Once that happens, the player becomes a prisoner and stays locked in jail until the game ends. Then the dolls explain another important rule. Prisoners can still be rescued. If one of the free players manages to kick the can, every prisoner will be released immediately. But there is a terrible catch. The can is filled with explosives. The moment someone kicks it, the can will explode. That means the person who saves everyone else will die instantly. In simple words, the goal is clear. The surviving players must stay hidden until sunset. At the same time, the Akuma must capture at least 3 players and stop the last free player from kicking the can. After explaining everything, one of the dolls opens its mouth and pulls out several wooden sticks for a lottery. The sticks will decide who becomes the Akuma. Everyone waits nervously for the result. A few moments later, the choice is revealed. Amiya is selected as the Akuma. He is already the most dangerous and violent person among them. The others freeze in fear. The game is about to begin. But the moment the dolls give the signal, Amiya suddenly kicks another student toward the can. Before anyone even gets a chance to hide, the can falls to the ground. Amiya quickly picks it up, places it in the center of the circle, and immediately starts hunting the other players. It does not take long before he finds the 2 students from the other school hiding nearby. Both of them try to fight back together, but Amiya is far stronger than either of them. Even working together, they cannot stop him. Amiya easily defeats both students, captures them, and locks them inside the prison. Very close to the prison, Ikika is hiding and secretly watching everything. While Amiya is stepping on the can to lock the captured players away, Ikika accidentally moves a little. Amiya notices her immediately. Now he knows exactly where Ikika is hiding. He also realizes that Takahada must be somewhere nearby. As soon as Takahada sees Amiya coming, he quickly ties a rope to a heavy object. He starts climbing down toward the can using the rope. Meanwhile, Amiya runs toward the building where he saw Ikika. He reaches the door and starts banging on it, trying to get inside. Ikika quickly understands something important. If both of them stay together, they will both be caught. So she decides to buy some time for Takahada. Without making any noise, she quietly leaves the room, walks downstairs, and stands in front of Amiya. But instead of calling out Ikika's name and taking her to the can, Amiya simply knocks her unconscious. His only goal is to keep searching for Takahada. When Amiya reaches the upper floor, he finds only the rope that Takahada used to escape. Down below, Takahada realizes that Amiya is probably guarding the area around the can. So he starts running around to search for another hiding place. After some time, Amiya calls out to Takahada. He pretends to be friendly and says that he has already captured 3 players. According to him, the game is almost over. He tells Takahada that they can work together and both survive. But Takahada knows that Amiya is lying. While searching for a place to hide, Takahada discovers something that could help him. He finds an old suit of metal armor. As the sun slowly begins to set, Takahada puts on the heavy armor and finally comes out of hiding. His plan is to use the armor to protect himself from the explosion that will happen when he kicks the can. But the armor is extremely heavy, making it very difficult for him to move. Even so, he slowly walks toward Amiya. At one point, Takahada even throws away his sword and acts as if he is completely helpless. Seeing this, Amiya laughs and walks confidently toward him. He knows that he must see the player's face before capturing them. So, while making fun of Takahada's plan, Amiya removes the helmet from the armor. Believing that he has already won, he confidently starts walking back toward the can, but suddenly he feels something pulling him from behind. A chain is wrapped around his waist. At that moment, Amya finally understands the truth. This was Takahada's plan from the very beginning. Before leaving his hiding place, Takahada had secretly tied one end of the chain to the heavy armor. While Amya was removing the helmet, Takahada quickly wrapped the other end of the chain around Amya's waist. Now Amya cannot reach the can no matter how hard he tries. With no other option left, Takahada suddenly jumps off the edge of the cliff into the sea below. The chain pulls Amya along with him. As they fall, Amya desperately struggles to save himself. The moment Takahada hits the water, he quickly removes the heavy armor from his body. Then he climbs back up by holding onto the cliff wall. Meanwhile, Amya becomes trapped underwater after getting caught in the heavy armor. By the time he finally reaches the surface, Takahada has already started running toward the can. Even though he is completely exhausted, Takahada uses every bit of strength he has left and keeps moving forward. A few moments later, Amya frees himself and begins chasing him. But Takahada reaches the can first. Without wasting a second, he kicks it. Everyone immediately lowers their heads because they expect a huge explosion, but nothing happens. A few seconds later, the sky slowly becomes dark. The dolls appear once again and announce that Takahada is the winner of the game. Then they reveal the truth. There was never any bomb inside the can. They only lied to make the game more exciting. Hearing this, Amya screams in anger and frustration. He truly believed that kicking the can would lead to death. But the dolls calmly explain that the entire challenge was only a game and nobody else will die anymore. As a reward for surviving until the end, each remaining player receives a popsicle. Before leaving, the dolls tell them to eat it. After everything they have gone through, Takahada and Ikika sit together while eating their popsicles and talking about the future. After finishing his popsicle, Takahada notices that something is written on the wooden stick. At first, he thinks it might be a prize message. Excited, he turns to show it to Ikika. But when he looks at her, he sees that she is crying. Takahada then reads the message written on Ikika's popsicle stick. It says, "You are out." At that moment, the dolls begin speaking once again. They explain that every challenge tested a different skill. Some tested intelligence, some tested courage, and others tested teamwork. But in the end, everything depends on luck. The message on each popsicle stick decides every player's final fate. Takahada looks at his own stick and realizes that he is the lucky one. He will survive. But instead of Ikika, Amya will return to the real world with him. The moment their fate is decided, the dolls fire laser beams at Ikika and all the other eliminated students. Their bodies disappear completely, leaving behind only traces of their spirits. After the final game ends, Takahada and Amya are taken into a gigantic cube floating high above Tokyo. When people around the world see that two students have returned alive from the deadly games, they begin calling them the children of the gods. According to the strange rules of this world, one of them will choose the path of destruction and become a powerful god, while the other will choose the path of death and become the ruler of the dead. With that final scene, the story comes to an end. If you liked this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel to see more such videos. Thanks for watching.